We're back on Get Up. It's been a busy few weeks in the NBA with the draft and free agency. Fortunately, we have our guy Bobby Marks here to give us some off-season grades. So, Bobby, let's start with the Los Angeles Lakers. What grade are you giving their off-season?
Well, Dan, I wanted to do an incomplete or even a D, but I'm going to give them a C. And the reason why is I'm a big fan of the Dalton Connect pick they picked in the draft at 17 here. I thought he was a top 10 player here. I think he carries at least a C for the Lakers right now.
All right, how about the New York Knicks? Had that fun playoff run, ended a little earlier than they wanted, but what grade do you give them for the offseason so far?
I'm a tough grader. I'm not giving them an A. I'm giving them a B+. And the reason why is I think that loss of Isaiah Hartenstein is certainly, with the inability of Mitchell Robinson to stay healthy, will hurt New York here. I think there's still some work to be done with their front court.
How about the Golden State Warriors? What grade do you give them?
I give them a B. I think on July 4th, Golden State is a better team without Klay Thompson on the roster because the ability to get DeAnthony Melton, Kyle Anderson, we'll see what happens with potentially Buddy Hield here. I really like what Golden State was able to do.
All right, I want to bring the rest of the NBA crew back in here. Do I have everybody? Is Zach? Yeah, Zach, I wanted to ask you. I mean, Bobby, we've heard the last couple of days, been fairly high on the Warriors offseason in spite of the loss of Klay Thompson. You agree?
Yeah, I think at worst, this is a lateral sort of set of moves. If DeAnthony Melton, if he's healthy, and he had some serious back issues last year in Philly, he's a really good two-way player, combo guard. Slow-mo, Kyle Anderson fits in everywhere he goes. He's a non-shooter with Draymond as a non-shooter, and Kuminga is a shaky shooter. You got to figure all that stuff out. And if they get Buddy Hield, shooting's always nice to have. I think that's probably on balance. They're in about the same place they were with a little more financial flexibility if those guys, particularly Melton, can stay healthy. But contending, I think they're still pretty far from that.
Wendy, what do you think we'll see from the Warriors the rest of this offseason? What's next for them?
Yeah, so they have assets to make more moves. And even if they close the Buddy Hield deal, which, by the way, Buddy Hield is going to put up the kind of three-point shooting that, comparable to Klay Thompson if he gets minutes. And, DeAnthony Melton is a better defender of perimeter players at this point than Klay. I mean, with those two pieces, they've, effectively filled in for Klay at a reasonable price. They have 4 tradable first-round picks, and they have some expiring salary hanging around their roster. They have a couple of tough contract extensions to work out between now and the fall, Jonathan Kuminga being the front there. But they still can make a big swing when a player becomes available. They've had some conversations on Lauri Markkanen. I'm not sure that's going to happen. But the Warriors are not in a terrible place. They're not the same team they were 3 years ago, but they're not in a desperate situation. I think that's important to realize.
Where are they, Zach, in the hierarchy in the Western Conference? Are they closer to being a title contender or a play-in team or worse?
I think they're kind of with the Lakers in that muck between seed 5 and seed 10 or 11 or 12 in a conference that is pretty deep in good, solid teams. And like I said about the Lakers, there's nothing wrong with being a good team in the Western Conference. It's hard to be a good team when there are so many other good teams. But there's a big gap between good team and great team, and the Warriors have more assets than the Lakers to close that gap. I do think they'll continue to talk with Utah about Lauri Markkanen. Is he the guy that closes the gap? That always depends on what goes out the door. And if I'm the Utah Jazz, if I'm Danny Ainge, I want Jonathan Kuminga, or else I'm just not going to do that deal. I don't know that Danny Ainge will take that stance, but if he does, that presents a really interesting dilemma for the Warriors because Kuminga is kind of the gem of the youth movement that has been happening while all this other drama at the top of the roster has also been happening. So I think that's where they are, and that's not a bad place to be. They're not a bad team. They're a good, solid team.
Bobby, how are you feeling about the Warriors offseason and what might come next for them? Is there more you expect them to do?
I do. I think the difference between the Warriors and where the Lakers are is they have blue-chip prospects. When you look at certainly Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody and Brandon Podziemski, and Brian mentioned the draft equity they can go out and trade here. They've got a lot of these sweet spot contracts, I call them. Guys in that $5 to $10 million range where you can combine salary. Certainly that Andrew Wiggins contract is sitting on your book as a big number if you had to move here. So I think they are in a good position. If there is all it takes is one player to become available. But There are certainly teams like San Antonio that's sitting on a lot of draft picks, Brooklyn, Oklahoma City. They're still behind those teams if Markkanen does become available. And certainly San Antonio can probably put the best offer on the table.
Much more to come on NBA free agency, even though it seems like it all happens right away at the beginning. More work for the Warriors. LeBron did have some deep conversations with Klay about the idea of playing together. That according to sources who told that to ESPN. New details from Ramona Shelburne and Kendra Andrews now shedding some light on why Klay ended up in Dallas instead. They wrote an article. It's now posted on ESPN.com. And it says many things, but including this. Something about playing for the Lakers apparently felt too much like playing for the Warriors for Klay. As one source close to him put it, would this be trading one fishbowl for another? All Thompson had talked about in the 2 weeks since he had decided and accepted that his time with the Warriors was over was wanting, quote, new experiences and a, quote, fresh start. So, Bobby, what does the fact that Klay picked the Mavericks over the Lakers say to you about those two teams?
They're a better roster. I mean, that's the reality of it. I think you look at a Dallas team that went to the NBA Finals. I think Klay Thompson had a front row view of this team in those 5 games here. You've got Kyrie, you've got Luka. It's a cleaner fit. The roster basically is the same from last year minus Derrick Jones, and you add Najee Marshall and Quentin Grimes here. So I think if you're Klay Thompson, listen, we can talk about could he have earned more money with the Lakers here? Possibly, but he's earned $270 million in his career. At the end of the day, where he is at his point of his career, happiness matters. Quality of life matters. Trying to win another championship matters. And that wasn't going to happen with the Lakers.
Yeah, Wendy, I mean, when you look at, Klay Thompson moving to Dallas, leaving Golden State, which was, obviously the pinnacle of the NBA for so long, and not going with LeBron and the Lakers, does that just signify to you the way the power structure has shifted in that conference?
For sure. And look, the reason that Klay was considering the Lakers was because of his affinity for the franchise. He was basically, normally if I just presented this on straight, a whiteboard, it would be a no-brainer to go to the Mavericks. He gave the Lakers an opportunity to consider them because of his family ties, because of his history, because he likes living in Los Angeles in the offseason. This is kind of a no-brainer. With what the Mavericks were offering, with the fit, with the recruitment, I mean, they were there immediately on Sunday night with him, with a plan, with their top decision makers. I assume that their players were reaching out to him as well. They handled this exactly perfectly. This is a no-brainer, guys. The Lakers are in this conversation for Klay for not 100% basketball reasons. All the basketball reasons said Dallas, which is why in the end he said Dallas.
I think, Zach, for a lot of people who don't follow all of this as closely as you guys do, one of the surprising things was that it didn't seem like the Warriors were in the mix for Klay Thompson by the time this all went down. Do you think that Golden State mismanaged that situation?
I think the relationship was, if not fractured, then so strained to the point of no return. By the time Klay Thompson actually reached free agency, there were hard feelings. Klay felt disrespected by the way the Warriors sort of went silent on him and negotiated contracts with almost everybody else on the team in the interim. Part of that was that Klay's contract just lasted the longest of all of those contracts, and the Warriors had the luxury of time of waiting to see what does Klay look like in 2023, 2024? What does this team look like in 2024? And by the time we got there, they had been long out of the playoffs, long out of the play-in. The writing was on the wall. And I do want to say, I think that little segment of reporting that you posted earlier from Ramona and Kendra is bang on. The Warriors, ever since the punch, have been just scrutiny, just story after story after story. The Lakers are a soap opera constantly. And if you are the guy that the Lakers signed because LeBron took a pay cut, you are always the guy for whom LeBron took a pay cut. If you have 4 or 5 bad games in a row, as shooters do, people will bring that up over and over again. Oh, the LeBron took a pay cut for this guy. I do think that's right, that Klay looked at LA, looked at the hometown stuff, looked at people asking for tickets all the time and said, you know what, this is too much of the same thing. Let me start really, truly fresh outside of California.
And with a team that was just in the finals, seems like...
Jenkins, my pistol's out now. Make sure y'all go run that up. You heard it live from your boy Bobby Shmurda. Get out.
Chase. niggas are spent through. Where would I be without my pistol? You live by it, you die by it, that shit true. Lost a couple homies for real shit, I got hit too. Gotta watch your back, you get killed, niggas are spent through. Where would I be without my? Where would I be without my pistol? Where would I be without my pistol? My pistol. Where would I be without my? Them niggas called me lacking, had that thing right by my side. Already one in the head, nigga, this shit do or die. You fuck around and lose your life, you come and playin' with mine. I told them boys this shit get hot when you playin' with fire. Boy better not jump up on that block if he ain't ready to ride. Goofy must've thought it was cool, we just trying to survive. That must've went over his head, same way bullets gon' fly. You know that shit ain't got no name once they open they gun. Need to stop shooting from that corner, nigga, run down my side. Niggas saying they doing drills, taking innocent lives. Niggas shooting for clout, they never really hitting them guys. I keep it on me all the time, but would I be without my? You live by it, you die by it, that shit true. Lost a couple homies for real shit, I got hit too. Gotta watch your back, you get killed, niggas are spin through. Where would I be without my pistol? You live by it, you die by it, that shit true. Lost a couple homies for real shit, I got hit too. Gotta watch your back, you get killed, niggas are spin through. Where would I be without my? Where would I be without my pistol? Where would I be without my? Where would I be without my?
Where would I be without my Glock? Yeah. She a thotty, she be all over my body. Can I love you or you are for everybody? If I leave, she coming right beside me. Like, was only one by my side. Not gon' play, nigga, you gon' die. The house broken, them niggas, they been fried. Like, free skim, he got locked for homicide. Like, so I'm trapping on my lonely. And I'm swerving in the foreign by my dolly. And these niggas outside not really my homies. Free gang, free broke, free the homies. Like, why they talking like they on that, but these niggas ain't on shit. All my niggas sliding and my niggas talking blicks. Daddy on my side and she really with the shit. Talking real crazy, she gon' push a nigga away. So I'm trapping on my lonely.